Hey guys, I'm actually walking while doing this video, so I was gonna wait to do this video, but everything happens for a reason, definitely, because I was just gonna do a whole big video this weekend, put all this into one, but something told me, you know what, you need this right now. So here goes. So on March 2nd, 2018, I gave birth to twin girls. They came early. They were due April 1st. No twins run in my family. No twins run in his family. I mean, well, like his great grandmother, something like that, was a twin. So I guess it's possible. I don't know, it's just a fluke, I guess. So the other video I'm gonna do, I'm gonna post it hopefully on Saturday, maybe on Sunday. That video is gonna talk about my first year as a mom, new mom, and the struggles and my triumphs, everything like that. But this video, it needs to be different. So shortly after giving birth and going home, you know what, start with throughout my pregnancy, there was a lot of issues, you know, like my family, I mean, the pregnancy, it just happened. It was like, I don't know, like literally one day I was just like, something isn't right, and something told me to take a test. Took a test, it's positive. Went to the doctor, found out it was twins. I had recently left my job, literally, like I think I got pregnant on like the 10th. I left my job on like the 18th. I was like, I can't take this anymore. I just need to go. So I ended up just quitting. No job in place, no nothing. In hindsight, it was my hormones, you know, that I was just like, oh, this is not right and whatever. So I know I had nothing. I literally had nothing, and all of a sudden I'm pregnant with twins, and you know, I started to panic, like, what am I gonna do? You know, people were telling me like, oh, look at the bright side, you know, a lot of people don't feel well during their first trimester, stay home, relax. And like, I was really trying to be like, right, look at the positive, I get to stay home. And it just, that didn't last long, you know. I mean, I wasn't in like excruciating pain, like a lot of people talk about like how much pain they're in, and that came later on. But then I ended up getting a job, and the job it was good for me at the time. It was 4 to midnight. Sometimes I would have to do like 4 to 4, but even that, it wasn't that far from my house, and it wasn't difficult work. So anyway, so I went to the doctor one day. I was like nauseous. Then they ended up telling me I have preeclampsia. I also had gestational diabetes. It was like, it just felt very overwhelming, you know. Like, I mean, I'm grateful because a lot of people say, you know, they go through a lot, you know, hospitalized, on bed rest, stuff like that. It wasn't like that for me. It just was like, I wasn't feeling well, went to the hospital, was there for a few days, and gave birth. But because I was so new to the job, I wasn't eligible for the family leave. So I had to get disability, which was a serious pay cut. And it wasn't that much time. So I was gonna be home for 2 months. And then, you know, back to work. I mean, if you have kids, having a newborn is difficult. You have twins, it's even more difficult, because if you don't have somebody to be with you, then you're always falling behind. And even with 2 people, you know, it's difficult to even pee seriously, because the both of them have to be sleeping, or at least one has to be sleeping, the other one has to be entertained, and then you run to the bedroom, but they don't wake up. It's like, it was like, I felt like I never stopped. And, you know, at first I was sleeping like minutes. It was insane. And that, like, that was always my fear. I was like, oh my goodness, how am I going to live? How am I going to sleep? And it was like, it was crazy because like you figure it out. And I was sleeping minutes, and then it was like an hour, 2 hours a night, whatever. When I finally caught up with the sleep, when I went back to work and we were back on a routine, I just felt different. And like, I thought it was my job. I was like, I don't like it, the hours. And so I went and I found another job, regular hours. The pay was better, which was great. I was like, this is awesome. I get to pretty much like make my schedule, do different stuff, you know, and I got more money. So I was like, a bunch of stressors taken away, you know. We went from a family of 2 to a family of 4, so more money was needed. Got that. Our sleep schedule was off because of my work. I changed that. It just felt like, you know, the stress should be taken off. And I remember my first week of the new job. I mean, when you work in the field, it's kind of like, once you do one thing, you're pretty much not going to do anything else. You know, there's a few things that's different. When you go in, they ask, you know, what have you done in the past? So you tell them, I've done this, I've done that. Okay, that's great. Now you also have to do this, or do this instead of that. Okay, no problem. You know, get your feet wet, and then that's it. You're ready. You're working. So I didn't expect anything different from this job. Went in and, you know, do this, do that, blah, 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 whatever. And my first day by myself, it just was like, I didn't feel relieved. I felt more panic stricken, and it just didn't seem right. So outside of being a therapist, or whatever, I'm not a therapist anymore, but I was, you know, and you can't really get out of that so easily. Being in tune with how I feel, even if I don't like it, even if I just want for it to go away, I'm very in tune. And so I said, all right, let me take inventory. Let me see what's going on. So I started to think, you know, I've been really sad. And then I started to think, you know, I haven't really been getting along with other people. I started to think like I'm not happy. And then I felt like something was wrong. I said, you know, this isn't right. This is supposed to be the best time of my life. I'm a new mom. I have 2 girls. And all the milestones, I get to hit it twice. And I just kind of felt myself like I was watching a movie. I'm living my life. I'm sitting there. I'm taking pictures. I'm smiling. I'm laughing. And it just didn't. It was like a ghost. It was, I don't know. It was one of the worst feelings I've ever had. So I sat down. I spoke to a few of my friends. I spoke to my boyfriend. And I said, okay, I think I know what's up. You know, I think I have postpartum depression. And so I went online, of course, and I started looking at the symptoms, and it was, I don't know, like, people think of postpartum depression and people think of somebody who kills their kids, and that's such a bad, I don't know, the way that it's portrayed, that is a very severe case of postpartum depression. And when I sat down and I told my boyfriend, oh, I think I have postpartum, he was like, well, are you telling me you want to do something to the kids? And I said, no, not at all. They're the only things that make me happy. Everything else is making me sad. Everything else is making me anxious. Everything else is making me feel miserable. And And, you know, I had to send him because, you know, listening to me, he's not in the field, you know, so it's different. When people understand mental illness, when people understand stuff like that, then they're able to say, okay, you know, that's one way. Then he, you know, here's the other side of the spectrum. So I had to send him the, I don't know, it was like the postpartum website or something. And he was going through it, and he was like, you know, he was like, did you diagnose yourself? I was like, I mean, yeah. Like, of course. He was like, no, I would really prefer if you saw a doctor, spoke to a doctor about it. So I said, okay. So I went to urgent care. Honestly, I was, you know, my work schedule just wasn't really working. It was a new job. I couldn't tell them, like, hey, I know I'm new, but, you know, something's not right. So I just went to urgent care, and I was like, hey, I'm not really feeling well, blah, 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 whatever. And, I mean, it was like, the male doctor walked in, and I was just like, oh, it's just not, like, people don't get it. He's not gonna get it. And so I'm trying to explain it to him, and he was like, okay, look, you know, we can't do that here. We can't diagnose. We can't give you medication. I'm gonna send you to a different doctor. So he sent me to like an internal medicine or something, I don't know. But I take a look at the doctor's name, and I was like, this guy has gotten so many of my old clients addicted to painkillers. Like, I'm not going. I'm like, why would you even send me? I said, you know what? Not happening. So I started to send messages to my my OB, and so I was sending him messages saying, I know, I think I have postpartum and I need medication, and I'm trying to talk to like his nurse practitioner, and she just wasn't really understanding it. I didn't get it. I'm like, how do you know, like, this is what you guys do for a living? Like, how have you never had a mom come to you and say, this is what's going on? Like, why is it that I'm like explaining and they're not getting it? And I just felt like so lost and so confused, and I was getting worse. I was crying over everything. My relationship was in shambles. You know, my family, I'm not going to say that they didn't trust me. You know, I questioned everything. I was like, am I doing this right? You know, am I a good mom? Can I ever be a mom? You know, am I ever going to be able to work? I'm back in school now. It's like, am I ever going to be able to go back to school? Like, this is just a disaster. It's a mess. What am I going to do? It was too much. So my boyfriend, he was like, you're going to go to the doctor. He's like, that's it. Go to the doctor. You're going to come. You're going to go to the doctor. So I tried to make an appointment with my primary, and he's really busy. So they said, oh, come see whatever guy. He's like, he's open. You can see him. And I don't like this doctor. I've heard a lot of stuff. I've seen the way he works. I just don't like him. So I go in and I tell them, I think I have postpartum. They say, okay, well, we're gonna do a questionnaire. And so we're doing the questionnaire, and it blew my mind because they're asking, you know, from 1 to 4, which I've done 1,000 times for other people. And I was always like, what does it take? You know, like, you never, if you don't live it, you don't get it. What does it take for somebody to answer 4s? And they were asking me questions, and I was just like, all the time. And it just like broke me. It broke me. I was like, how can I be living after having everything that I've ever wanted? Like, how is this happening? He ended up putting me on medication, and he didn't want to. He really didn't. You know, and I explained to him, I said, look, I work in the field, I get it. You know, you think I'm sitting here, you think I'm just trying to get it. I was like, but this is not an addictive medication. He gave me Zoloft. I was like, I just need something. You know, I was like, I'm in therapy, and it's not helping. You know, like, I know what I need. I just needed this to happen. And he was so like, go see a psychiatrist. I don't want to blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay. I said, so if I walk out of here, I hurt myself or I hurt my kids. What are you going to say? Like, what are you going to do? I came to you crying, telling you how I feel, telling you what it is that I know that I need. And you're telling me that you can't help. And you know, I don't know. I guess it got through to him. He said, I'm giving you 30 days and that's it. Find a psychiatrist, find another therapist, go to your primary. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I would love to go to my primary, but they told me to come see you instead. And it just kind of felt like there was nothing that I could do. Nothing could help. I felt like people had let me down. I felt like I had let myself down. I felt like I had let my kids down, which was worse. That was like the worst, you know? Like, I would literally leave the house, get into my car, and just be so miserable. So miserable. And then I would have to go about my day, walk through the door, and just have a smile on my face. You know? Like, my family, I felt like they were watching everything that I was doing. The reason why I felt like I had to make this video now is because when me and the babies went in the pool, we were in the pool, and it was really fun. You know, they're trying to swim, and I got them little floaties, so cute. And then I'm like, what time is it? My dad's like, oh, it's almost 2. I was like, all right, let's take them back to the room. Take them back to the room, and I was like, okay, let me put them in the bed quick fast, make them some food, and then they could take a nap. And the water's like really iffy out here. We're not in like the touristy area. It's like people, you know, normal where people live or whatever. So the water's not so good. I couldn't figure out how to get hot water out. I didn't want it like scalding hot. I just wanted warm. And I couldn't get it. So I just gave them like cold water, and I went to the faucet. They have a faucet outside. And my mom's like, oh, that should be hot because it's outside. The pipes, you know, the sun should have heated up. So I'm like, all right. So I go to get it. And then my brother, he took the water. He's like, no, I'll get it. And he got the hot water. And then my mom's undressing one, my boyfriend's undressing the other, and then I'm you know, going to bathe them. And I just felt so helpless. I'm just like, I can't. Like, they're going to be 1. It's less than 1 week and they're going to be 1. And I'm just like, how? You know, like, being a mom, you always feel like you have everything under control. And sometimes you just don't. And the thing about postpartum that people don't understand is that that'll make it worse. You know, thinking that, feeling that, it's just gonna multiply. It's gonna keep going, keep going. And I've been on my meds, I'm gonna say, since October. And they were good for a little bit. You know, I have therapy. I have my support system. I talk to them as much as I can. But I just feel like I started to feel the medication wear off. I started to feel where the medication, you know, where I would be like, I would have fleeting thoughts. And then they would just be like, oh, it's no big deal. It's so much more consistent now. Feeling like things aren't going the way that they should, and that there's something better that I can do. And I have to remind myself, like, I'm a good mom. I'm told by a lot of people that I'm a good mom. I'm very patient, but sometimes it's difficult, and sometimes I find myself being like, you know, why won't they just, and they're not even 1. So no, they're not going to just understand, you know, that I don't want for them to fall off the bed. They're not going to get that I bought them something to help them not get hurt. And now they're doing the complete opposite and using it, and they're going to hurt themselves. Like, it's going to take a little bit for them to get that. And until then, I have to just continue to remind myself. So I just wanted to make this video just so I can let other moms know, especially moms in recovery, that just because things aren't going the way that you think that they should, or the way that you want, does not mean that you're a bad mom. When I told myself, all right, that's it, I'm gonna make this video, I'm gonna make it now, I sat outside my little cabana, and in there, my brother has one baby sleeping, hopefully. My boyfriend has the other one sleeping. My dad was a few feet away, and the cabanas are so close and they're so thin. You can literally hear everything. I sat down, went to press play or record, and I told myself, no, I can't do it here. I can't do it here because I don't want people to hear me. And that is the stigma of postpartum depression. It's like, just because I have postpartum does not mean that I'm a bad person. It does not mean that I'm a bad mom. And times like right now, or like half hour ago, when all was said and done, when both babies were clean and fed, and both of them were sleeping, and I sat there and I looked at everything and I said, oh my goodness, you know, another mom would have been able to bathe the both of them by themselves, and the food would have been made ready, and you know, I would have just thrown the bottle in. And it's so hard. I'm going to link the Postpartum website. I also ask if anybody has knowledge of postpartum, if you're struggling, if you struggled, if you work with people who have postpartum, if you could reach out to me, send me a video, send me your info. I'll link it on the channel, I'll link it on the Instagram. I'm here for support, and I'm always open to having other people reach out to me for when I need support. Hopefully I'll do another video before Saturday, but if not, see you guys Saturday. Thank you.